India, there's many names. One is Bhumidev, you
Bhumi,
know.
yeah.
So this is a divinity, this soil. When we understand that, then we have to do everything to nurture that. So the first and last technique in, I would say, any farming practice is returning organic matter. So all the sticks and the weeds and the grass and the branches, all of that, you have to find a way to return that back to the soil. Now, the techniques you employ to do that may change according to topography, climate, demographics, even geology will define techniques. But the point is return organic matter, because without a healthy soil, we have no civilization. The soil is the foundation. Then comes all these plants. And then the plants, then comes our body. Then comes Siddha tradition and Ayurveda, Upanishad, mind. But first is the soil, because that is the mother, you know. For me, mother is not a photo and it's something very real. It's this soil. And if that would unite us and we'd understand, but that's our common foundation of any, you know, society, we will have a revolution in the world. Now, once you start to protect that soil, you can consider to employ the ideas of permaculture. It's a huge subject. It takes into account social permaculture, alternative building, alternative energy. If we just look at the crops that are growing and the farming aspect, we can say one important part of permaculture is the stacking of crops. Now, you go in any jungle and you'll see, oh, there's some grasses, some carpet crops. There are small shrubs, small trees, big trees, and creepers and vines. And what we're doing is we're replicating that. So how do you create this intercropping? There are two main perimeters. The first is to recognize all those plants have different physiologies. So you're playing with them according to physiology. A very common one in farming would be sweet potato. It's a carpet. Inside the sweet potato, you put the makkacholam, the corn. Because the corn is vertical, the sweet potato is horizontal. So that's a very, very basic one. And they're happening in all sorts of ways in nature, much more sophisticated and subtle and elegant as well than man can like recreate. And then the other perimeter is the time duration. So again, if we did a vegetable bed, the first thing we could do is put tandakere, amaranth. That's a very quick, 4 weeks is out, you pull it out. But when you plant it, you put lady's finger, okra. So the vendakai, that would be like 2.5, 3 months. And then next to that, you could put something like a haldi, that's 7 months. And then next to that, you could put banana, it's 1 year. And then next to that, you could have a fruit tree, it's 5 years. So you have a succession of crops of longer and longer and longer durations. And you start to get to know those crops. You start to really relate with them. You relate with them by eating them. Now, as that whole system progresses more and more, you start to see that nature just gives things on her own. And it's up to us to use them. Now, a really amazing example is this palm tree. So mostly in farms, palm tree could be around the border because it's it's very good technically for the water table and has a lot of benefits. People have forgotten the bit the uses. If we tell Tamilians, they'll all theriya nungu sapra, but and panaparam, and they'll tale arikara. But when last time you had the palm fruit, you know, people they don't have it anymore. But the palm fruit, we take off this topi, we boil it, we make a juice from it, we sell it every day in the cafe. We make money from that palm fruit, regularly juice, and it's very tasty. Then we grate it, we add rice flour and jaggery, and we make this like adrisan, this like little cakes with the palm fruit. And then we collect all the palm fruits and we make panakelinga. Again, Tamilians will say, but actually we don't eat it anymore. You know, who is selling the palm fruit? The little old lady in the bus stand, no, 10 rupees. It's been reduced to the side of the road in Pondi, that KBS shopping coffee shop. No, there's a sewer, there's a flat screen Sony TV, and outside is a little old lady, very poor, selling those things. Avarampu, Varatanda, Varapu, Ponangani, Moratakan. She's selling those things. Those things are the foundation of the Tamil culture. Without those things, there wouldn't be a Tamil culture. Why? Because those things grow without any effort. So that is a very amazing example. Of course, then we have the Nungu and we have the Panawala and all these other things. Another great example is something that's grown on its own is what we call in Hindi Ramphal. In Tamil it's called Attaparam, not Atiparam, but Attaparam. Bullock heart, it's the Annona family, the custard apple family. And this tree is a weed, you know, nothing more than a weed. It's growing everywhere. And some I say, oh, you want this? Oh, no, we don't eat it. You know why people say they don't eat? Because they didn't try it. Because they don't know it. And again, with vegetables, did you try this arbi, the sepang? No, I don't know. We only eat the things we know. And what is presented to us, beetroot, cabbage, cauliflower, carrots, potatoes, none of it grows here. So we have to, reclaim this relationship. And, as you start to see all these things that grow on their own, you start to get this food forest emerging. So there's soursop, there's tamarind that's come on its own, papayas that have come on their own, there's chiku, lemons, the ramphal, the custard apple, bananas, and there's no light left. So we lost the light. This is one compromise. When you have all these trees, you got less light. So you have to start to explore. This will happen to your garden later. You have to start to explore the shade-tolerant plants. And Vetri has done that very well in his small plot. There's a very small plot, but he's done it well. So you see the manjal, the haldi, the turmeric, that's shade tolerant, very shade tolerant. And then you have the pineapple, also shade tolerant. Even this chili that you're playing with, this guy is also shade tolerant. And then all of those weeds, the moratakan, tudavali, all of these guys are shade tolerant. Bananas, papayas, they will find the light. Then we have varieties of lady's finger, 3 meters high, called Assamese giant. That will find the light. And then you have various creepers, like the vettali velikaranga. It will creep, so it will find the light. So those plants start to become, very integral to this system. And the only way you understand those plants is by eating them. That's the relationship, It's like just one email with you. We don't really know each other, but meet, talk, cook together, work together, eat together. Yeah. Then friendship is there, You need to engage with those plants by eating. Yeah. And one here behind you is tipuli, or in Latin it's called pippalongum. This is very important one because this is 100% in the shade. And it's a truly Indian plant. This one, it's a long black pepper. It's very good for COVID, good for detox, cancer, all these things. And technically it's growing in the shade. So if you have a permaculture project with a lot of trees, under every tree it's growing. And on the perimeter of those trees is you have the haldi, the turmeric. And on the outer perimeter you have the arbi, the sepan kelinga, the taro, because that's also shade tolerant. And then you have this and that, and you start to design these gardens. Design is a very arrogant way because mostly nature is doing it, finally. But you keep putting things, Okay, let's go this way.